Hello and welcome back to my Helluva Boss reviews. We'll be talking about any Easter egg, references, connections to the rest of the show. Sometimes you'll see my Sona, which leads us into Season 2, Episode 1, The Circus. Uploaded July 30th, 2022. In a flashback episode, we learn about Stolas, and how on his birthday he learned that he was going to get engaged to Stella, so to cheer him up, they take him to the circus. Shenanigans ensue. In the beginning of the episode, we see Paimon's summoning circle in front of the mansion rather than Stolas' summoning circle, as well as the building now having a more pinkish hue rather than bluish. Kid Stolas has a plushie of an imp version of Max from Sam & Max. We see the bathroom from Murder Family. Kid Stolas is adorable. His clothes also kind of look better here because he has like feather pants and the royal vest, as opposed to when he grows up and the vest becomes like a romper and he gets weird leggings that go down to only one of his knees. Because Bird, he has an egg photo, a hatchling photo, and then baby photo. And we finally meet Stolas' dad after a really cool animation of him morphing from a weird thing into a bunch of different animals just to show off the animation. And we finally meet Paimon. So is that like his base form, or like does he just do that to show off like he's always this, or he just did this just to show off? And the owl form is just his normal form. He's also played by Jafar. He references that he has so many other kids, which is probably because royalty and he has a lot of illegitimate kids, with Stolas being his only legitimate kid with his wife. So being Stolas' birthday, he introduces the fact that he's going to get the powers to see the cosmos, control it, and have a grimoire to help him. And also because royalty, he has to produce an heir, so now he's engaged to someone he's never met. With little kid Stella strangling these like chihuahua crow things, Stolas doesn't really like that last bit. So Paimon decides to get him to shut up, take him to the circus, with him appearing in mirror form because he hates poor people. This imp has similar eyes to Striker. I'm not sure if it's meant to be little kid Striker. But there's still circus, there's juggling, horses, people on stilts. I think this is our first appearance of Barbie Wire in person, knife throwing, and even some clowns. And speaking of, we see little kid Blitz and Vivziepop. And little Stolas has an instant crush on little Blitz. I kind of hate this revelation. It feels like them backpedaling and retconning their relationship to add more to the relationship where they really don't need it. Notice that Blitz doesn't have any of his white markings yet, and he does go by Blitzo. These two imps might be a reference to the Shining Twins, and this imp might be a reference to Jet Set Radio. In pre-cyborg Vivziepop upstages Blitz. Then after the show we meet Blitz's dad, who has giant horns and looks almost exactly like his son. The two dads meet, and Paimon wants to buy Blitz for Stolas, which Blitz's dad agrees to do for the chump change of $5 and a cum-dum. I guess Paimon uses the Bifrost to get out of there. This scene with the two clown kids is adorable. And I guess off-screen, the two dads negotiated, despite Paimon saying he wants to buy Blitz. Blitz's dad is only saying that he's going to have a day pass with the Goishas. But he also still guilt trips him into stealing, so their family can have more, which little Blitz agrees. The two meet, and you love the detail of Stolas' 4 eyes all independently working, like the two upper ones spinning here, and then only 3 of them being open. The two hang out, and it's about as awkward as any time I've ever hanged out with anyone. They talk about Mr. Frog and Mr. Toad, and Stolas' love of botany, which is why he has a lot of plants later, and in mythologies associated with them. He also says Heb, because of his British accent. A very rare example of an American not pronouncing a letter that British have. Normally it's the British that love silent letters for some obnoxious reason. So Blitz ransacks the place. We surprisingly don't see Paimon's reaction to all this, which could have been funny and be a reason why Blitz was kicked out, because he bought him and now he stole from him, so now he kicked him out, whatever. The two hang out by a tree. Little Blitz wants an office for some reason, probably because he's a little kid who heard the word office once and he thought it was kind of cool. Then 25 years later, not too modern times, despite Stolas waking up by himself, because he's still with Stella at this point, they're having a not divorce anniversary party, couples only, which is weird phrasing so they can just have the joke later. Octavia cameo. Weird that she's not at the party later. At the party, the other Goetia are a bunch of birds. And Stella, talking with her friends from the pilot, reveals that she's always been terrible to Stolas. A lot of people in the fandom hated this for making Stella inherently evil. I don't entirely mind it, but I do think they probably could have just made it a little more complicated. Like, you can still have her dislike Stolas, but, she's also royal and was forced to marry someone she's never met. Say something like, in Our Flags Mean Death.
So I have to marry a complete stranger.
Well, yes. He has money.
Steed and Mary Bonnet are forced to marry, not because they love each other, but because of tradition and their status. Even after having a kid, they don't really like or care about each other. Instead of having Blitz get immediately caught sneaking in, he sneaks in when Stolas is there and he does, his thing. Stolas is happy and confused because he's never felt this feeling of love before. And maybe Stella's family is really mad at her for daring to let this affair happen, trying to gaslight her into thinking that she's the whole problem, even though the two never liked each other.
We're married. All right. We made a contract in front of God, and I am bound to honor that. But in your absence, I have managed to create a life that I quite like, and I won't destroy that life just because you've decided to unabandon your family on a whim.
But not every villain needs to be tragic and understandable. I don't entirely dislike what they're doing with Stella. I'm just talking. Stolas chugs some absinthe. Absinthe is an alcohol that's very flashy and cool looking, and it supposedly makes you hallucinate, but that's just a myth. Two Hellhound guards find Blitz sneaking in. Stolas recognizes him and takes him to the private chambers to do ho. Kinda weird that's his first thought to do. Blitz just wants to steal the grimoire, but he plays along because...
What is he doing with his... Think about it, bro. What other weapon does he have?
He gets the grimoire, but I guess he felt like doing it anyway. The next morning, real fast, off screen we hear the same audio from the pilot of Blitz falling onto the cake and saying, "Sorry I fucked your husband." But Stella is now in her new design, and they're getting a divorce. Stolas is very happy about this, despite presumably directly after this, or at least the next day. Or around that point, he's very apologetic in Lululand. Then now, Stolas wakes up to his CGI globe thing, and we cut to him right after the events of Ozzy's, binge drinking absinthe, looking kind of disheveled and taking happy pills from Belphegor, which leads into Stolas' song. Stolas sings, or Owl in a Cage. Being a Stolas song, it's performed amazingly and looks gorgeous. It's a song basically about Stolas feeling trapped in life, and the only bit of love he ever felt might just be one-sided. Oh, I just realized the wallpaper is like Paimon's head. Stolas wants to give Blitz an osmosine crystal that will help him transfer to the human realm, which explains how Vraska got to the human realm. Also, Stella's there. Why exactly? To torment him. Stolas grows a backbone, saying that they have an heir, so we don't have to be married anymore, get the fuck out. And the divorce is finally going through. Also, Octavia 17. This is a pretty good episode, even if a lot of it does kind of frustrate me. It's really cute seeing the kid versions of characters. The animation and singing are amazing as always. The emotions are very well handled. And I love that the show is finally giving us Stolas' side of their relationship. That he truly does love Blitz, and now he feels like their relationship might be a little one-sided, so he's going to give him a crystal so he doesn't have to see Blitz anymore. The retcon of Stolas having a crush on Blitz since they were kids feels a little obviously retcon-y to make the relationship a little less weird. But overall, I'll give this episode a 7 out of 10. Make sure to hit the like button, share with your friends, comment your thoughts, and subscribe if you're new.